Hello guys, welcome to the next episode of late Friday night's Banter Blitz. So just let me know if the sound and the picture, if everything is okay with the broadcast, and we will start. Just as usual, we are going to play several games with the guys I've never played before, and then we will come back to the normal order of challenges. There are not so many challenges today compared to the usual situation, which is probably not that bad because today we have roughly 1 hour and a half, maybe slightly more, but definitely not more than 2 hours. So let us start. Let us start with, I guess, Hail Bob, so candidate master from Turkey. So I don't remember if we have played during the previous episode. I think we didn't. And, well, it will be a great challenge to accept, but it somehow disappeared just right now. Why? What happened? Here it is. Okay. Just accept it. Everything is fine. Everything is fine with the broadcast. That is good. So, let's start with something normal, which means Ruy Lopez. Here we go. Bishop e7, d3 now. Alright, so e5 is already hanging. I have to play b5. Here I usually play d6 immediately, protecting e5 and creating a sort of knight a5, so a3 is just very natural to protect the bishop, because there was a positional threat of just grabbing it for the knight. Alright, now let's castle. Knight goes to c3. What about bishop g4 now? I think it's playable, so let's try bishop g4. Bishop e3 protecting d4 square, but I think I can go to d4 anyway. So let's try this knight d4. Using the fact that knight f3 is pinned. So. Takes. And knight goes to d5. Very natural thing. So now, if I take on d5, bishop takes d5 most likely. This may be or maybe not that annoying, but I prefer c6 move. Just to cover d5 square in advance. And h3, very imaginative play. But isn't it something that drops the pawn? I don't think so. In fact, so if I take on d5, takes on g4, I take on e4, d4 will be hanging after all. So let's just take on f3. So white will take the bishop or the knight, not to lose a minor piece. And I would say we'll have slightly better position in both cases, because this bishop b3 remains on the board and it will exert long-term pressure on my f7 pawn, which is slightly annoying, but I think I will have resources to deal with this. So first of all, what to do with this threat of e5, because e5 might be a threat, c6 is hanging. So can I just play bishop e5? I'm afraid it would be just a waste of time, because if I play bishop e5, there is queen g4, followed by f4. So I should think of different ways of protecting this c6. Maybe queen d7, preventing queen from going to g4. But in this case, queen goes to g3, and I can't really stop this f4 move. So probably I have no chance to stop f4 anyway, which means I have to be well prepared for this. What can I do to fight with this f4? Maybe to play something like f5. Don't know. Let's try. So king h8. Now, most likely something like this. Tempo move, going away. And now maybe just queen g5 or g6 preparing f5. This is slightly risky, of course, but I guess it is an interesting way of playing against f4. Otherwise, there is just f5 and I will be smashed sooner or later. Maybe also just a help to my opponent, in fact. So if I play f5, he takes f5, if I take with the rook. But I can take with the pawn, that is interesting, so let's see. Yeah, I take with the pawn. A tempo move, very important one. And once the queen goes away, I can play d5, just closing this bishop almost forever. That is nice. And g3 drops a pawn, I think, because I can take it with the bishop. Because of rook g8, bishop no longer controls this diagonal, right? So it's kind of a lot of extra material taken into account that this bishop b3 doesn't take part in the game. So rook g8. Is there a quick checkmate or not? What if we just bring the queen to... Okay, rook e8 is also a move here, I don't know. Or just queen h5. Well, and queen g6. Great, instead of queen g2. Look at this bishop, it doesn't take part in the game. Very nice. So it's like a bird line in Ruy Lopez when the knight jumps to d4 after bishop b5. So it is one of the typical ideas there, to force the bishop to b3 and then to play d5, achieving something like this. Now there's this threat of queen g2. I can't see a defense, to be honest, because if rook f1 goes to f2, queen g1 checkmate. If rook goes to f2 from f3, then queen g3, king h1, queen h3, and queen f1 checkmate. So it's over. I think white just underestimated my f5 move. So probably white thought that after e takes f5, I'll take with the rook, where after bishop e6 is very unpleasant. So when the rook goes away somewhere, I don't know, c5 or f8, then f5. This looks really annoying, and probably white is just much better after that. d4 is hanging and so forth, g6 is hanging. So yeah, it's awful. But the point is that I take exactly with the pawn, and after g takes f5, queen f3, and d5, I achieve a lot. So now this bishop b3 is nothing, absolutely. Well, my bishop is everything. So there are some dark squares that are limited. Oh, sorry, they are weakened in white's camp. I'm sorry for this. So... and I can just exert direct pressure. So my next move will be rook g8, then rook g3, or maybe bishop d3, queen d6, and rooks are being doubled along the g file. So very good position. And if white undermines my d4 pawn, I can even ignore it if I want. But probably that was a move. So just to play c3 here, I don't know. Position remains quite complicated, but I think I'm fine after, I don't know, after rook g8, I'm fine after queen b6, easily protecting the pawn, being able to take it with the queen and so forth. So black already solved his problems. So white could have played this in a bit more subtle way, in my opinion. So instead of playing queen g3 here, queen g4 maybe, or even queen h5. I don't know, maybe queen e2 simply, just to avoid all these complications. And now I don't think I have the time to prepare this f5 normally. So let's say if I play bishop e7, then already f4 is annoying, so white wants to play f5, maybe. At very least there is some play against d4 pawns, so to put the queen on f2, maybe to bring the rook to f3, and so on. If I play f5, well, it weakens a lot. I don't know. In any case, after f5, it's possible for white to wait, not to define the situation, not to take on f5, which again allows this d5, which is extremely annoying, just to keep the tension. So something like this could be recommended. Okay, let's see if we have any other guy that I've never played before. There are a lot of my usual opponents. Here is Martin K. from Germany, never played before, premium user, accept. So, e4 with white. e6, d4. So French defense. Let's play knight c3. And knight c6. Okay. So, let's put the knight on f3. Knight f6. Now e4 is hanging. So let's spin the knight, probably. Now I can play e5 if I want. But then knight goes to e4. That is the point behind this knight c6 tricky line. What can I do? I can also play bishop b5 here, I guess. It's a tricky move, intending to put the knight on e5. Can be playable, most likely. So let's try bishop b5. I'm not sure that it works. It's very tempting, just to develop the piece. Be not afraid of this temporal loss of the material, I guess. Yeah, so black decided not to take this risk and simply castled. So now, of course, d takes e4 is a threat. Can I just take on c6 here? Of course, it's not typical to give up a light squared bishop, but I damage the pawn structure at least. There might be something interesting, like playing with two knights against two bishops, which is also not that typical. Yeah, interesting stuff is happening here. All right, let's play e5. And knight e7 instead of knight e4. That is something that makes me happy, to be honest. So I expected knight e4, 100%. All right, let's protect the bishop. Let's play in the style of Shutter Elohim attack, as far as I remember. So to take or not to take? That's the question. If I take on e7, I just help black to improve his position, I guess. With knight e7, knight f5, then c7, c5. So it's better to avoid taking on e7 here and to try to use this h6 as a hook later on, maybe. So the question now, where to put the bishop, on f4 or e3? I have no idea where it's better placed. Let's put it on e3. So what happened? a6 was played. Okay. Now I'll just go away with the bishop. Strange, right? But at very least I avoided this knight e4 jump, which was main idea. Now, what to do now? I guess queen d2 is interesting. Creating a threat of bishop takes h6. Probably at some point in the future. Maybe nearest future, who knows. All right, b4. Where to put my knight? I guess this is a square. a5. Also makes sense, just trying to play bishop a6. Now, can I take on h6? I'm not sure, but let's try. Looks promising. And, of course, maybe absolutely wrong. or maybe absolutely right. So at very least after queen takes h6, I have two interesting continuations of the attack. The one is knight g5, very simple one. Another one is bishop d3, and I can see the third one, rook h3, rook g3, just with the rook left, also leading to a checkmate. Rook e8. Okay, if I put the knight on g5, here comes knight f8, but what about rook h3, creating sort of rook g3? I can't see a defense, to be honest. So, should be just lost. If knight f8, rook g3, knight g6, well, I can play bishop d3. I can play h5. I can simply sacrifice on g6. Think also winning. Of course, I have to be careful. But, well, looks so losing. I can't believe black can survive it. So simply, everything is limited here in the center, especially this queen. It's just awful. Can't join the defense. Alright, now let's try to be precise. So rook g3, knight g6, takes. If king goes to h8, I win after bishop d3, it's clear, but king goes to f8 is not that clear. So, most likely bishop d3 to start with, and then rook goes to g3. This should be winning. Yeah, I think this should be winning. So, Andrey's second name today is Killer. Even more, I'm wearing this hoodie, having a psycho in the front, so I'm kind of psycho killer today. Like from the latest album of Muse, where there is a song, Psycho Killer, if I'm not mistaken. Which I do like, by the way. So, what to do? Knight g6, bishop takes, f takes, queen takes. If king goes to h8, knight g5 finishes. They think because bishop g5, 8, g5 is a checkmate. If king goes to f8, I guess the same knight g5 should be winning, but after bishop g5, what to do there? To take on g5 with the pawn, creating the threat of checkmate in 2 with rook h8 and queen g7. Yeah. It's also possible just to play rook g3 right now, preparing everything. Is it winning? Should be winning, but let's see. Rook g3, bishop f8, rook g6 takes, g6, bishop g7. It's unnecessary complications. So knight g5 right now should be also winning. Interesting, a lot of winning possibilities. So let's try this one. You know, rook g3 here. What is precise? Yeah, rook g3. He's better than queen g6 immediately, I think. But there is no difference, in fact. So I could have taken on g6 and then rook g3. Could be a move. In either case, there are so many ways leading to the goal. Okay, I'll take with the knight. Take with the rook. Alright. That is what I missed, but probably it's not a big problem. Should be still absolutely winning. Everyone should take part. Every single piece. It is a checkmate. Okay, so There was an interesting game, but I guess my opening choice was not that great. I don't remember if bishop b5 makes sense here. So at very least there is a chance usually to play something like bishop d7, but I think that taking on e4 was absolutely playable. So attacking the bishop, I can take here, but after d takes e4, what to do? So if I take on e7, after queen e7, I probably just have to take on c6 here, otherwise after knight e5, let's say, there is queen b4 check, very annoying. So I have to take on c6, bc6. Alright, I managed to damage the pawn structure, but black has extra material and is going to win even more after queen b4. So it all looks like a great bluff. So it could be easily just a bluff, I don't know. So here queen b4 deserves attention, followed by queen b2, but also simple bishop a6 looks very good, just stopping my king from castling. In which case, of course, I can play queen d2 and castle the other side. So maybe it makes sense for black to start with queen b4 check. I have no idea. I have to play something like queen d2 maybe, and after queen takes b2 to castle. Now this might be annoying for black, of course. So there are some problems with the queen, with the pawn structure in general. So white has some compensation. Alright, so it was playable. But what happened later in the game after bishop b5, castles, e5, I do believe that knight e4 is a move. So black did everything to bring the knight to the center, to open up a position and to exert pressure on d4 pawn. So why not to play knight e4? That's the big question. Because after knight e7, well, the knight is simply passive and I can do what I want. At least it was necessary to play something like f6 here, just creating some counter chances in the center, while my king is still in initial position e1. So f6 deserved attention. After h6, I definitely just have a hook on h6 and the rest is simple. So I just start the attack and win the game. All right, next challenger, let's see. So here is so Jetzel from Austria. I've never played before. Let's accept and play. d4, knight f6. Let's go. Knight c3. All right. So trying to force me to play what? To play Verisov. Okay. Let's play bishop g5. So what do I usually play here is knight to d7, protecting the knight and just being ready to replace it if necessary. What is cool about this position is that it is quite flexible, so black can choose between different lines. So I'll try this modest approach. Just protecting d5, additionally creating a threat of queen a5. Well, it's not a threat, just a possibility to activate the queen once white castles long, which is usually the main plan. Alright, let's put the queen on a5 just in advance. It is also the fight for central square e4. I guess it could be interesting for white to play e4 instead of knight f3, to be honest. Castles. Okay, so e4 is again possible. And white is already there on the queen side, which means that probably it's time to start my own attack. So let's play b5. Again, it's not only just the start of the attack where the king is, but the try to kick this knight c3 away to grab the control over e4 square mainly. At least that is my primary goal here. So now I think it makes sense to start with the e6. Very natural move. Just unleashing the bishop. Maybe intending to take on a3, who knows. So it worked very well in the previous game, this sort of sacrifice. So let's see, maybe it will work fine in this game either. 95, I'm not sure in this move at all. So let's take it. Well, I'm not sure because after 97 I can't see the proper way of protecting this e5 except for f4, which weakens a lot. Especially this e4 square. And now it feels like I have kind of majority, pawn majority on the queen side. Of course, it's not true, but it just feels like that. So now b4, right? A takes b4, bishop takes b4, looks very natural. What else? Yeah, why not? It looks like the attack combined with the development. Now I want to take on c3 even. At some point. Also queen a1 is annoying in the vast majority of cases, but first I need my rook on b8. Bishop a6 is ready, knight c5, so there are a lot of resources. Being ready to join the attack on the queen side. So let's do it. Let's do this attack. e4. Well, now I can play knight c5 attacking the queen. Then at very least I can take on c3, but I can take even on e4 immediately because there is a threat of a checkmate on a1. So e4 kind of helps me, I think. So knight c5, where the queen goes. It doesn't really matter because next move will be knight takes e4. And if knight takes e4, then queen a1 checkmate. So the knight c3 is simply overloaded here. Okay, so knight takes e4, right? It's also possible just to take on c3 first and then to take on e4. Also very good idea, but I want to save my pieces on the board because I think I have good chances to attack. So let's take it. Yeah, forced. Almost forced. So now, very pleasant position. How can I exert further pressure? A rook to b8. Simple castling is a move, by the way. Yeah, why not castling here? I can't see the reason not to castle in this position. Just to bring the king to the safe square and, well, continue with comfort. So now, can I play bishop c5? Sorry. Bishop c5 attacking the queen. I guess it's interesting. Where the queen goes. I think d3 is just the only square. Where after I can try bishop a6, attacking the queen, because queen controls e3 square, which I can occupy with the bishop. And if I do this, it's over. So bishop a6 looks like absolutely playable move. Bringing the last minor piece to the game. Maybe I missed something, of course. But it looks just winning after bishop e3. So knight e2 looks like the only move. Yeah, still controlling a1 square, so it is very easy to miss this and to play queen a1 like with the checkmate, but queen a6 takes a1. But okay, I can take here with the bishop. King goes to b1 now. Now knight to c3. Clearing the b file, and then rook goes to b8 with the checkmate very soon. b3. Here goes the rook. And it's over. Bishop b5, rook b5, or something. So the problem for white here is that he gave me a serious attack very soon. So I think instead of knight f3 to start with, it was much better to try something like e4, right? Because I gave white a chance to occupy the center. So why not to do it? So after this e4, I don't even know what I wanted to play. Maybe still this queen a5, pinning the knight and exerting some pressure on e4. Maybe queen b6, maybe just taking on e4 first. By the way, it is something like Caracan now, if we exchange these pawns, but very strange version, right? Very strange one. So I don't know, definitely e4 deserved attention. After knight f3, I play queen a5, just fighting for this e4 square. And after castling, as we noticed, white easily had no time to prepare this e4 anyway. There is no other active play. If white doesn't play e4, well, it's very hard to achieve anything. So after a3, I just played e6. Here I expected e4 once again, but it's no longer that easy. So after b4, attacking the knight. If knight goes away, I just take on e4, so it takes on b4. I wanted to take with the bishop. And now e4 is hanging. So there are also threats like knight e4. For instance, after e5, I can play knight e4. Kind of same motive like in the later stage of our game, right? So after knight b1, well, this knight is just very passive and I can come up with the attack. But of course, it's a better version for white if compared to what happened in our game. Because look, after knight e5, I just took on e5. There was an object of attack on e5. And b4 is still playable. And, well, this position is very sad for white already because white has no play, while black has very simple attack on the queen side, right? Okay, let's keep playing. My son is crying. Very loud. It will be the factor that will deflect us from thinking process. Well, actually, it will distract me first and foremost, so you have an advantage. And we come back to the normal order of challenges. So spielt is here, accept. Let's go. ChessPago says, a loss is like end of the world to him, so we should care, everybody. Okay, e6. e3. So, this is a very calm approach. It's very important not to be provoked here, not to play c7, c5, because if black plays c5 here, there is c4, and it is very annoying version of what can happen in some lines of Queen's Gambit. For example, if I'm not mistaken, it happened exactly in the game between Kramnik and Topalov, which I analyzed in the very first episode of Training Tuesday. So I'll try this, just b6. Bishop d3, bishop b7. So, in my opinion, it is a better thing to do with black here instead of c7, c5 at early stage of the game, because this leads to a calm variation of Queen's Indian defense. Or maybe some transposition to the Collier system is still possible. We will see. So, let's play d5 right now. I like doing this move when the knight is already on d2, just slightly limiting its activity. Moreover, e4 was ready, so why not to play d5, just stopping it. Okay, now, to put the knight on d7 or to play c5? That is a good question. I will try c5, slightly more active move. Because if white comes up with the plan of knight e5, f4, it's better to have the knight on c6. So now, bishop to d6 looks natural. Bishop b2. All right. It's not just castles, I guess. Interesting position. Knight e5. Okay. So now knight c6, right? Exerting pressure on knight e5 and probably creating a threat of knight b4. For example, now, does it make any sense for me to play something like knight b4? I'm not sure. Bishop goes away, so do I have a direct attack on c2 there? Not sure if it gives me anything. All right. No idea. Let's start with rook c8. Let's prepare it. Because now if white plays something like c3, all right. That is a good thing. If a3, it is also just a pawn move, and my rook is definitely better on c8 than on a8, which is nice. But what to do next? Position is quite complicated. I think it makes sense for me to come up with this typical maneuver. So, knight e7, intending to put my knight on f5, also intending to put my knight on e4, if necessary. Queen f3, knight f5, cd4, ed4, c4 maybe deserves attention. Is it possible to play c4? So c4, bc4, dc4, queen b7, c takes d3, c takes d3. It's a complicated position there. Right. Let's start with the queen c7. And now c4, right? Do I miss anything? But looks like simple tactics, right? So now queen f3 is under attack. c3 with a threat, but after this, I think I can take on e4 and simply play f5. I don't think I'm mistaken. So knight e4 drops, no? So, okay, there is some compensation, of course. All right, let's take it. Next move will be c3, just burying that bishop there on a1, very nice. That goes to d5, well, should be just winning position. Still have to be careful though, because I don't have enough time. I need some sort of speed here. Okay. Don't know what to do here, so to take or not to take. 36 seconds. Let's play b4. Let's just finish with this bishop first. Unnecessary complications, of course, but all right. What could I do? Just in a severe time trouble here. What am I doing now? Just creating problems for myself. Yeah, some sort of simplification finally. All right, my opponent clearly wants to flag me, but what can I do if I have only, well, a few seconds on the clock, right? All right, so interesting game, but of course everything finished after c4. So I think after c4, it's over. Why I played queen c7? I just wanted to protect my bishop b7. So after queen c7, it was necessary to bring the queen somewhere, maybe to h3. I guess bringing the queen to h3 was interesting. Where after I have to play something like knight e4, I do believe. And here is something typical for this system starts. So maybe knight to f3, but then something like knight f5, followed by maybe f6 could follow. It can be also true that rook c8 wasn't necessary here, so most likely immediate knight e7 was better, just intending to jump to e4 immediately and so forth. But yeah, who knows. Very interesting game. So typical Cole system. This knight e7 maneuver is dedicated to this knight f5 followed by knight e6 and knight e4 later on. And the idea is to bring the knight to e4 as well, to play f6 to deal with this knight e5. Of course, taking on e5 is awful. And, well, I just missed this c4, I guess. Okay. Okay. Let's go further. Let's go further. Here we go. Yohann Wilhelm Möbius. And I'm sorry if I misunderstood what was written in chat, because I mainly focused on what is going on the board, and as far as I understood, I said something wrong to ChessPago. I'm sorry if I did it. It was not intended. So knight f3, d6, d4, knight e4, knight f6, knight c3, a6. Let's play bishop e2. Need some coffee. e5, knight b3. So that is something typical that we play usually with Yohann Wilhelm Möbius. Usually castle and play queen d3, preparing knight e5. So what my opponent is going to do: bishop e6. Right, so usually I played knight e5 immediately. Can I play bishop d2 instead? There is also an interesting move, but as far as I remember, it is done not against bishop e6, but against something else. This can be also possible, so let's try it. So the idea is that now my bishop controls a5. This may be useful. So, for example, after knight e5 here, takes. And here's the point. So my knight can go to a5 if I want. But do I want it right now? I'm not sure. Bishop g5 is kind of threat. Positional one. Alright, let's start with the c4. Anyway, this move will be done sooner or later. Now e4 is going to happen. So usually there are two options to play f4 or f3. I would prefer f3. And there is the difference, I guess. But no, if the bishop is on e3, there is the same. I mean, I can still go away with the bishop if I want. And I do want to go away. So to bring the bishop on a5, force them b6 or not? No. Yes, bishop c3 immediately. g6, very fast. My opponent is playing very, very fast. So now, let's go away. First of all, just avoiding all this, sorry, nasty checks. So, knight is on f6. Either c5 or something, I'm not that sure. But there is something like bishop b4 attacking a d6 followed by c5, maybe. It's very hard to make a decision here. There are so many different things going to happen. Let's go wild a bit. It's g4. So the point is that I have pair of bishops, so maybe I just want to open up a position. Just from a psychological point of view, I guess will be a hard decision for Black, for example, to go back to e8. So f takes g4 happened. Now I want to get to g6 somehow. For this, I need my bishop e2 active, so maybe there is something like bishop d1, bishop c2 at some point, but it's too slow. I don't think it's possible, so let's start with rook e1 is also stupid because of bishop h4, let's say. Not clear to me what to do here in general. Knight a5, well, no. e4 should be covered as well. Knight e2 maybe, with the idea, no, it goes to knight c5, so let's put the rook on a1 first. Let's see. Now probably this, bishop to d1. And now, bishop c2 or what? Or knight d4, knight d4 is possible now. Yeah, knight d4. Let's go to e6. Very good option. And I should definitely use this possibility until it is expired. So queen to h3 is forced. Something really crazy happening on the board. Probably g4 was too much. I should have played this. I should have played this rook e1, bishop d1 without playing g4, I think. It's just too much. Okay, now g4 is under attack. Should I protect it, or what should I do in general? I have no idea, so let's protect it. Looks terrible now. Yeah, black should be winning here. Black should be just winning here. Yeah, for example, with this move. Oh my god, that is just awful. Amazingly bad position. Okay, let's get some counterplay at least. All right. So now something is happening on light squares, but again, I just don't have the time to figure it all out. Check. Takes d2 with the extra minor piece, which is nice. But again, I just don't have the time, which is very bad. Only 30 seconds. But there are so many different threats, including bishop b3, for example. Queen takes d6 is also a threat. Right. Let's just win additional material. Yeah, now it's winning for white. Unless I missed something tactical, but looks like I was very lucky because position was absolutely awful. So this g4 was stupid, in fact. Yeah, so here black was very close, very close to winning the game. I think after this knight f6, of course, I should have played, instead of playing this stupid g4, I should have played rook to e1 followed by bishop d1, bishop c2 if I wanted to come up with this maneuver. But also there was an interesting possibility to try, let's say g3 move, intending to play f4, just forcing pawn e5 going away, where after knight e4, knight e6 becomes very interesting. There was also an option. This g4 was just it was just an experiment, of course. I wanted to see what is going on after this move, and I was wrong, because now I can't really coordinate my pieces. So queen e7 is a very good move, in fact, covering a lot and protecting a lot. And now, for example, if I play bishop f3, there is e4, which I probably just underestimated. Most likely here I should have played something like knight e2, but after knight e2, knight c5, it's really annoying. So here, instead of rook e8, bishop h4 was also very nasty. After bishop d1, rook here, and knight d4, knight c5. Yeah, just covering e6, forcing my queen here, then queen d7, attacking my knight. Here I should have played something like knight e6 probably, sacrificing the pawn, but at least opening the position, because after knight f3, bishop f4, pawn on g4 is hanging, my pieces are not coordinated. After rook g1, I saw the possibility just to bring the knight to d3, and that was so ugly for me. I mean, rook is under attack, there is knight f2. I don't know what to do, so rook f1, just knight goes to e4. c4 is hanging, so it's kind of absolutely lost. Of course, knight e4 is also great, so after queen g2, knight takes c3, b3. Maybe here it was too early to take on d2, but okay, who cares? So rook c4 is also good, g5. The only thing is knight e5. Yeah, knight e5 was absolutely wrong, so instead knight h5 I think is still winning for black. So the idea is just to keep my bishop closed, to keep my bishop this passive, like on d1. So taking on d5 actually eliminates the pawn that I was happy to lose, because now it opens up the diagonal a2, g8. And moreover, there is this trick with knight e2, attacking the rook on c4 and at the same time the knight on d5. So probably knight e3 was a move here. And after rook takes e3, bishop takes e3. Well, if I take on c4, bishop takes g1. So here, I do believe that black has a serious compensation for two minor pieces. Maybe black is even better because, well, my king is very, very bad. So that was also an interesting moment. So knight e3 deserves serious attention, but definitely not bishop d2. So here, position is already clear. Now I just have extra material and no compensation. Well, PT enough, but good game. Butterflies here. 5 minutes, accept. e4. French defense. And there is that tricky line, right? Let's try to avoid it. With the help of e5. I didn't play e5 since I was 12, I think, maybe 13. So for quite a bit. Sometimes I play it in Blitz games, of course, but in real games, not anymore. And here I usually preferred development of the bishop on e3 when I was a kid. So yeah, the pawn structure becomes interesting. And g6 is one of quite interesting lines. So here, what is going on? So bishop goes to h6. Bishop goes to h6 instead of e7 position, just attacking e3, which of course makes sense. So bishop goes to d3 as far as I remember. Now queen goes to e2, just protecting the pawn e3. Now, it is interesting to play g4, g5, something like this. Is it playable or not? That is a good question. First of all, is there a threat of knight takes b4? I don't think so. So if knight takes b4, a b4, queen b4, I have knight e2. So there is nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I think g4 should be played, because if I castle, I have a feeling that black simply plays something like f5. And I have nothing there. Yeah. So let's try g4 with the idea g5. So if f6 or f5, I just take. Oh, but there could be a counterplay even after that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe g4 is just too much. But this gives me a chance to play g5, which is nice. All right, this looks fine. Let's castle. So I just prevented f6, f5 counterplay. So this f7 is a long-term weakness. And now I need my knight somewhere on g4, in fact. How to get to g4? So it's possible to play h4, knight h2, knight g4, knight f6. But is there also a chance to do it the other way? I'm not sure. In any case, I have to complete a development here, and knight c3 is not a move because of knight d4. And knight c3 will be hanging, so knight e2 is kind of forced. Let's develop the pieces. Knight goes to e7, also very natural thing to do. All right, to fight for this c file or not? Again, not clear. But knight b3, knight c5 looks very standard and very interesting. Just to bring the knight to the active position. Let's see if it works. It should work somehow. Bishop is now passive. So let's try to come up with something active on the king side. Okay, so there is a threat of knight g3. I have to be careful. Just to take this knight looks interesting. But this makes bishop e8 very active. Very, very active. So maybe I have to do this after some preparation. So let's put the rook on c1 first, going away from this a6 f1 diagonal. Now bishop b5 is a threat. Is a positional annoying threat. Bishop takes f5 now looks forced. Or maybe queen f2 to start with. Yeah, let's put the queen on f2. All right, let's take it. I understand it's very bad for white, but I don't see a clear plan. So now at least my knight goes to f4. It's very hard to see if I achieve anything after that, but at least my knight will be very nice there, just exerting some pressure on this d5 pawn. Okay, let's put it on f4. Let's go back. I don't like my position. Oh, but this exchange is actually very bad for black. So now look, my knight dominates the board. I guess it was wrong for black to play this. So now my knight is much better than that bishop on g7, which is completely limited with my pawns. Come on. Oh, this weak on c5 even. It should be just lost. Should be just lost for black. But I have no time to make a correct decision. It's wrong, I believe. There should be something much better than this queen f3 move. But I simply didn't see it, and in this time trouble, it's not that simple. But alright, now at least I have a concrete threat that has to make a decision. Okay, what about this? Now this. Queen d5 was also great, by the way. Should be just completely lost for black. But again, the question is the time. do I manage? Until I see zeros on the clock. Queen e8. Okay, rook c1. Let's take it. I don't really care. It's just lost. It's just lost. Oh, thank you. My God, I lost on time. Can you imagine? Yeah, you can imagine, because I just spent so many moves on a bullshit instead of checkmating. But all right, so there was the only interesting moment after all these exchanges already happened, when black had a chance to play rook c4. So here it's clear that it's lost. Let's have a look. So it happened later. Where did it happen actually? So somewhere here. So when I played queen f3, right? Bishop h8 was just a mysterious move to me. It was possible to play rook to c4. So here I wanted just to take. Where after, if d takes c4, I wanted to just blockade this pawn with the help of knight e2, followed by knight c3, but it's still a very long way to anything. So I'm not sure if I achieve anything, if I accomplish anything. So I don't know, maybe queen f3 was wrong. So my initial idea was just to bring the rook to c5, but then I saw this bishop f8, and well, I was ready to sacrifice the exchange, but I didn't really want to give my opponent a chance to get rid of this stupid bishop. That's why I didn't play that, but now I can see that I can simply take on d5 in this case. Come on. And what is interesting with both pieces, with the rook and with the knight as well, creating threat of knight f6, so bishop f8 isn't even possible. So rook c5 was absolutely the correct decision here, preparing rook to c1. And I don't know what black could do here. I think it's lost just on the spot. Yeah, and if rook c5, then bc5, well, this is a very bad position, of course. Now, there is a constant prison for this guy, bishop g7. This d5 is weak, my c5 is just protected passed pawn, and so forth. All right, and for black, well, everything was done more or less fine. The only thing is just allowing me playing this g5. I'm not sure it was a good idea, but all right, it was still playable, still good, because I had to do a lot of work to achieve anything. And here I think that black is already, well, more or less fine. So bishop c4, this queen a7, okay, knight f4, b6. Maybe it could be interesting just to double rooks prior to playing this b6, maybe. I'm not sure. But just imagine, you double rooks along the c-file. I don't think I have anything serious after knight f4. You still have this great bishop on c4. Then you play b6, and then you see if you need even to take this knight or not. But okay, knight f4, b6 is also playable. After knight d3, it was definitely a good idea to try to double rooks here, in my opinion. And yeah, because giving up this bishop so easily was absolutely wrong. So now I have this simple plan of just exerting pressure on d5. Well, maybe position is not lost, but already not that pleasant as it was before, only one move ago. And definitely b5 is a serious mistake, just giving me the chance to get to c5. All right. Anyways, thanks for the game. So I lost. All right, Kramnik student is next. I'm playing with black pieces. Let's go. Let us go e4, e5. Let's train. So, as far as I... No, Ruy Lopez again. Okay. And bishop a4, finally. Good. So, Kramnik student prepared something different. Right, here as far as I remember I should take. And now, if I'm not mistaken, bishop e7 is still a move. Okay, I don't remember what to play here, so let's castle. And c3, just fighting for initiative. Okay, I'll take it. I'll accept this sacrifice. Knight to e8 looks forced. Now knight is going to d5, which is nasty. So let's play d6. It's time to undermine these things. Now there is a question: to take with the bishop, to take with the pawn, or to take with the knight. Because if I take with the knight, there is knight d5, and I'm not sure where my bishop goes. Maybe I don't have to go away with the bishop, but I don't want to lose it either. But if I take with the bishop, there is bishop g5, which is very annoying. Well, maybe I'm already in a bad position to know. Let's see. Knight to d5. All right, so now there is a concrete threat of just taking on c6 and then taking on e7, so my bishop is in trouble. So what can I do? I can play bishop e6 here. I can play also bishop to f6. What is not that awful? I don't know. If I play bishop f6, knight f6, queen f6, bishop g5 is a move. Queen takes b2 there. Bishop takes c6, b6, bishop e7, rook e8, bishop takes d6, rook e1, queen e1. And there is a weakness on the e8, so maybe I will be checkmated after that. Not very pleasant at very least. I play bishop f6, knight f6, queen f6, bishop g5. I can play queen g6, but then comes the same shit. So bishop c6 followed by bishop e7 and bishop takes d6. But there I have something like bishop h3, but there is bishop g3, protecting g2. Okay. Yeah, bishop f6 is bad. So bishop e6 looks like the only option after this calculation. Maybe it wasn't necessary to spend so much time on calculating these obvious things. I mean, on making this obvious decision, that's what I mean. So the things after bishop f6 are not obvious. But here, what to do here? If queen d7, there is knight e5. Well, my opponent is prepared very well. It's very nice. So I'm fighting for a draw here, not more. Alright, so maybe f6 after all, but then knight d4 is a 9. But okay, I don't have anything better, so let's play f6. Looks ugly, but at least it protects e5 square. So if bishop goes away, I can go away with the queen, be not afraid of this knight e5 jump. So my extra pawn, of course, doesn't matter at all because it is doubled. So what I like about my c6 pawn is that it covers d5, so potentially if my bishop e6 survives it, I can put my bishop on d5. Interesting stuff. Yeah. Bishop to d2, all right. So now, where to put the queen? I think it gives me a chance to put it on f7. So let's get it away from the e file. The next will be bishop d5 or something. Yeah, bishop d5. Starting improving the position. So now at least I completed the development and probably don't have a lot of weaknesses. So my position is more or less safe now. I guess white missed something somewhere. So I mean, white could have played much better than this. So now let's start the attack. It's time to attack. G2 is under fire. F3. Now what to do? Knight to F5 or what? Or to start with this rook E1, bishop E1, not sure. So how to fight with all this? So let's play knight F5, intended knight H4. Interesting position. But I think I'm already slightly better because kind of, yeah, my bishop is better than this one on d2. At least I can create some threats to white's weakened king. Right, queen f5. There is no longer a threat against my c6 pawn, which is nice. Still, there is a question if I can create any sort of threat. So let's take here. Queen goes to f4. Saving the queen on the board for now. Okay, let's bring the rook to the active position. Maybe it wasn't necessary to know. Yeah, most likely there is nothing. Most likely there is nothing, but we will see. Maybe there is something. A5. Queen c5. So rook e2 or what? Yeah. Looks quite natural. Bringing the pieces to attacking squares, but still could be not enough. Oops, what is that? Did I miss something? Yeah, probably I did. Or maybe not. No, bishop c5. Okay, king e8. What's going on? What is going on here? Very messy game. Okay, so let's go away. Oh, I can't go away. That's the point. There is just a perpetual. Yeah. Okay. Very nice game. Very interesting one. So I thought at some point that I already had the initiative, and well, I thought I was close. But maybe it was necessary to play the other way. You know, maybe a rook e1 here followed by rook e8, but it also didn't look very clear to me. So c6 is still hanging. Maybe queen d3 deserved attention here. I also considered this move, but again, I didn't see what it gives me, in fact. So after even knight takes c6, I didn't see. What could I achieve? So rook e1, queen e1, rook e8, knight e7 is even possible. Maybe there is something, I don't know. Takes. Rook e8, attacking the queen. Yeah, there may be something. So knight e7, rook e7, queen e7, queen takes d2, but here comes rook takes c7. And I think the best I can do here is just to find the perpetual somehow, but there could be no perpetual, by the way. So I have no idea. That is a very strange game. Thanks a lot for this experience. I will try to come up with the improvement next time for this line, because I didn't like the position I achieved, to be honest. So it felt like I was finding only moves to survive it. Yeah, at some point I actually managed to improve positions of my pieces, but then after all it wasn't enough. Okay, next one is Andrey Ostrovskiy. Here we go with white pieces, e4, e5, knight f3, bishop b5. Okay, so it looks like the chat came back, because at some point it kind of stuck on my tablet. Now I can still play chess despite the late time. What is that? Bishop g4, bishop e6. The point is understood. If I take on e5, there is queen d4, of course. But would there a reason to play bishop g4? I have no idea. Let's protect e4 pawn. Now I can take on e5. There is still queen d4. But then knight f3. But after knight e5, there is knight e4. It's not clear, so let's just take on e5. Oh, just bishop e7. All right. This gives me just extra material. And no compensation. What about this? Look at this gorgeous knight on e5. Oh, come on. That is not enough. Because I control everything here. Queen h4. Well, let's keep developing the pieces. I think it's the best strategy. Now, what about just king g2, preparing queen h3 check, and not only that, knight f7 was also winning, but there was knight g4, not so clear, so let's keep the knight on e5 for now. Just controls everything. So, what to do? I think black is lost. Simply. Black is simply lost. For example, after rook h1, queen has no moves. And I just take it. Alright, so bishop g4, bishop e6 was playable, because if I take on e5, there is queen d4. Still, I think I could have played this knight f3, queen e4, knight g5, then took on e6. And what? And I'm slightly better. Probably that was the easiest way for white to play this. Yeah. I decided to protect pawn on e4 prior to taking on e5, and it was possible for black just to play f6. And now this bishop g4 left sudden makes sense, because h3 could be used as a hook later on, so probably it's good for white to come up with the exchange of queens as fast as possible. Because after knight takes d4, that's a bishop f7. I don't think I can exploit the position with queens on the board. I don't think I can achieve anything here, so I guess queen d4 was slightly better, which means that f6 was absolutely playable. I mean, that's okay. And for me, it was better to take on e5 simply. Anyway, next one, and it will be probably the last one for today, as I said before. I have something to do tomorrow early in the morning, so I have to go to bed earlier today to be fresh and prepared. So Don William is the last challenger today who might give a game. So let's do it. e5. And let's try d6, just the good old Philidor. Knight f6. So what about this Antoshin line? Very old one. Alright, bishop c4. Let's start with the c6 immediately. Bishop c4 followed by bishop e3. That is something new to me, honestly. So now I can go b5, b4, and grab the pawn on e4 at very least. Unless bishop goes to d3, but that is something strange. There is also an interesting thing. If I castle, what white is going to do? There are so many threats. I mean, knight g4, d6, d5, b5, so forth. So here I think b5 makes sense. Bishop d3. Let's grab more space before. It feels like I have the initiative, but it may be not enough. So now d5 looks very natural. Follow up. Yeah, let's play d5. So the point that after I played b4, knight no longer controls d5 square. So why not to come up with this breakthrough in the center? So I'm slightly underdeveloped here, of course, if we look at bishop c8 and knight b8. At the same time, I'm already castled, while white is not. So this, I think, completely justifies my d5 idea. And a5 looks dubious, because now I have knight g4, And in addition to just taking on e5 and taking on e3, I have a sort of c5, followed by c4. That is interesting. Knight e4 is also absolutely playable, I think, just grabbing this bishop. Because it's highly unlikely that white can just go away with the queen after that. But let's try knight g4. That is interesting. f4 and now c5. Where the knight goes? Where this knight goes? That's interesting. Knight f5. Yeah, maybe I just overestimate my position. I don't know. d4, c4, c4, then... Oh, c4, simply c4, come on. Knight takes e7, queen takes e7, and the bishop is trapped. Come on, what am I talking about? So, c4, bishop takes c4, let's check this. But then dc4, queen d8, bishop d8, knight on f5 is here. No, it can't be good. It's just c4. Takes e7, and what? The bishop has no squares, I mean, and is trapped. All right, let's take it. Knight e4, queen d5 was possible, but after that I could have captured on e3 if I wanted, or bishop b7, also winning. So let's play this simply. All right, captures. And now there are a lot of different ways to roam. Which one to choose? Knight e7, queen h4 check. Oh, let's play this, queen h4 check. And just simplify a position, which I can do, definitely, having the extra minor piece for only one pawn. So it's time to develop my pieces, I think. It's already an endgame stage and I'm still not developed. So, how to do this? Bishop to b7 or knight to d7 attacking the pawn. I guess this move is better. Knight f6. Okay. This pawn will be mine very soon. Have a feeling. Still creating some problems. Very nice. So now bishop b7. Let's play bishop b7 now. It will be very stupid to lose this guy. e3. I'll just rook to d8. I just rook to d8. Right. Now rook here. And now I'm going to attack this pawn e7 and win it eventually. Like this. The knight is the main defender, so let's get rid of it. Okay. There was probably a better way to achieve the same. But this also looks enough. Oh my god. What's going on? What is going on? What am I doing, huh? Oh, shit. Just something incredible. It's just something incredible. Look at this, what I did. I mean, I just give up a rook for nothing, but my opponent did the same. Yeah, just a comedy of mistakes. Yeah, and I won on time. Very, very strange end of the game. But what is interesting, after bishop d7, I was very close to losing the game. Or maybe it's just a hallucination, I don't know. Let's have a look at that. So, of course, position is absolutely winning, but I started doing complete bullshit, so giving my opponent absolutely unnecessary chances and activity. And look at this. So g takes, rook f6, bishop d7. Here, rook f7, king g6. Yeah, and here rook f4 was interesting, because after rook f4, I was about to take on e7. Maybe I still could have captured this, but after rook g1, there are some chances to checkmate me, maybe. No, it's just a hallucination, so I just put my king on h5, and come on. There is no checkmate. Yeah, I'm just stupid, because it's too late. In any case, yeah, I was winning after c4. So I deserved this win because white played the opening very badly. What was done wrong is, of course, the mix of bishop c4 and bishop e3. It's absolutely incorrect. In my opinion, if you play bishop c4, you should play castling then quickly rook e1 and bishop f1. That is the line. If you want to play with castling alone, then the bishop has to go to f4, not to e3. Because on e3 here it is vulnerable to this knight g4 and d5 and so forth. That's the point. So after you play bishop e3, of course, after castling, I think I'm already fine. Especially after queen d2, just b5, b4 here, and I have plenty of different options. So I can play d5 just like I did in the game. I can play also knight g4, grabbing the bishop, or putting my knight on e5, also with a great attack after c5, c4. So black is completely fine here. And after this, simple moves, of course, black is winning already. In any case, yeah, Andrey below 2800s, we are successful, says Kramnik students, and that is absolutely right. So you just punished me today for my stupid play. I tried my best, I tried hard to play decent chess, but at some point started making mistakes, and you were here just to punish me for these mistakes. Very good. You become better and better from one show to another one. Those guys who didn't play today, well, you can subscribe to my channel and see what you have after that, for example, on Sunday and Monday. Thanks a lot for your attention. See you very soon. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.